day everyone, we are the Group 1 and we are here to tackle about the main and auxiliary engine circulating systems pump sets. A. Identify or name at least 10 critical machinery and equipment inside the engine room. Critical equipment is a piece of equipment or machinery that could do any of the following: significantly impair the ability to safely meet business objectives, adversely affective quality levels, violate environmental standards of the business organization. Number 1. Main air compressor sets. Number 2. Control air compressor sets. Number 3. Main and auxiliary engine circulating systems pump sets. Number 4. Main engine electrical blower. Number 5. Main switchboard and components. Number 6. Main and auxiliary engine systems filters. Number 7. High filtered pumps and low filtered pumps, or HFO and LO pumps. Number 8. Feed water system pump sets. Number 9. Boiler circulating pump sets. Number 10. Boiler water gauge glass sets. Next, main and auxiliary engine system filters. For a prolonged, safe, trouble-free, and efficient operation of machinery and system on board ship, it is important that there is proper maintenance, a record of correct parameters, and prevention of impurities from entering the systems. Next, high HFO, high filtered auxiliary and low auxiliary pumps. Marine fuel pumps are required on board vessel to load fuel oil onto the ship, transfer it from tank to tank once aboard, and feed it to the engine. Next, feed water system pump sets. A feed pump is a type of pump that supplies water to a boiler to produce system or steam for industrial purposes. A feed pump supplies a liquid for further processing. Next, boiler circulating pump sets. Boiler circulating pump circulate water within the boiler to enhance boiler operation. They take suction from a header that is connected to several downcomers from the bottom of the boiler drum and discharged through additional tube circuits. Boiler water gauge glass sets. Water gauge valve set is used with side glass. The device allows the liquid level in a vessel to be visually inspected. Water gauge are required by the ASME boiler and pressure code on steam boilers, and are also useful in many other applications.
So, good day everyone, I'm Engine Cadet Andre Sabate Jr. So, I will describe the use of each critical machinery and equipment and explain why it is considered as critical equipment. So, working on critical system, if a sudden operational failure of equipment or technical systems on board may result in a hazardous situation. So that equipment or system is considered critical. Master and chief engineer must draw up a list of critical ship functions and critical equipment main and standby. These critical lists are to be formalized on board and sent to the office. The grid list of critical equipment must be accurately reflected and identified in the vessel's PMS. This list will always include supply of electrical power to essential services, proportions, steering and main engine, steering gear, generators. So minimum stock level for critical spare parts, consumables, and tools. It is the responsibility of the chief engineer to set the minimum level stock listing and to customize for each vessel and to formally agree with the fleet superintendent the contents of the list. The chief engineer must then maintain the agreed minimum stock levels and to ensure as appropriate the necessary requisitions and deficiencies are to be brought to the attention of the master and the technical department of the relevant management office as critical spares inventory monthly report. This report must be completed the return to the managing officer. The under mentioned listings are the recommended minimum stock levels for the item list. So that's all. Thank you.
So good day, and I am Agent Cadet Lumugo, and here's my report. So person who are responsible for the operation, maintenance, repair or of critical equipment and systems, as well as calibration and adjustment of alarms and other parameters of the equipment must be properly qualified, trained or experienced in the use of these crucial items. Either the master of chief engineer is responsible for ensuring the competency of the person involved, and in the maintenance is sufficient to carry out the task or must personally supervise critical phase of overhaul. If there's an doubt as to the ability and competence of those aboard to carry out a particular task successful on critical equipment or systems, then the management office must be notified for further guidance and or instruction as to how to proceed. Whenever routine planned maintenance of major critical equipment is to be carried out that involves shutting down the equipment, ship staff will consult the management cell. A risk assessment will be required before the equipment is shut down. The risk assessment will be include but not be limited to addressing following topics: alternative backup of equipment system, any necessary modification in operational procedures as a result of the equipment and being out of service, and additional safety procedures, emergency and equipment, and etc. So C, which is the state that allowable minimum required number of spare parts, piece or insets of each critical equipment. Main air compressor sets is required to have an electric motor pump and receiver. So the minimum air pressure required is 30 bars to start the main engine. A pressure valve is provided which reduce pressures and supplies controlled air from storage air bottle. The control air filter controls the input as well as output in the air bottle.
Good day, sir. I'm Cadet Freddy Elvison Jr. I report about the air compressor seats. This mode of control varies compressors outputs meets through the requirements by the adjusting the outlet valve, resulting in the air restrictions of the compressors. Eventually, the modulate at zero flow rotary screw compressors typically consumes and about the 70% of their fluid power demand, and the main and auxiliary engine circulate systems pump sets. There are two kinds of power. This is the required of two kinds of power to move ships and the power to run the electrical device and the appliances on the board. And we I proceed about the marine's auxiliary engines is engines that supplies the powers runs electrical device on board ships. And two is main engines electrical blower. 3. Ship fans are electrical devices composed at the parallel or impeller turning within a fixed housing. This circulates air in confines or hot areas such as the engine's rooms and galley. And 4 is main switchboard and components. 5. The main elements of marine distribution systems are the main and emergency switchboards, powers, panels, motors, the controllers, lightings, and small power panels. Board. The systems is generally designed such as under the normal conditions operations power and distributes from the main switchboards. Main and auxiliary engine systems filter. The containers and the type of filters mostly on the low pressures or suction sides as used to remove the contaminations particles from the systems. And HFO low pump or HFO and heavy fuels and the most widely used type.
Good morning everyone, I am Cadet Gilbert Server. So, the Marine Auxiliary Engine is the engine that supplies the power to main electric devices on board ship. Main engine electrical blower. Ships' fars are electric devices composed of a propeller or impeller turning within a feed housing. They circulate and confine or hot areas such as engine room and the gallery. Main switchboard and components. The main elements of marine distribution system are the main and emergency switchboards, power panels, boards, motor, controllers, lightning, and small powers, panels, or boards. The system is generally designed such that under conditions of operation power, it is distributed from the main switchboard. Main and auxiliary engine system filter. The strainer is a type of filter based mostly on how pressure or suction side of filter is the most low pressure, and it is used to remove large contamination particles from the system. HFO and allow pumps. HFO or heavy fuel oil is the most widely used type of fuels for commercial vessels. The fuel oil releases energy for commercial vessels to relate the ship propeller will alternate torque by burning fuel inside the combustion chamber of the engine or to generate steam inside the boiler. Feed water system pumps sets. There are two types of pumps that are most often used for boiler applications. Some stainless steel vertical multi-stage inline pumps and multi-stage horizon injection pumps. Boiler circulate pump sets. How many required circulate pumps? A circulation pumps should have a minimum 10 gallons per minute flow rate at given pressure drop. What is their typical lifespan? As long as your central heating system is correctly installed and properly maintained, you can expect the pump to last for a long time. Typically, they keep going for well over 10 years with same lasting 20 years or more. Boiler water gauge glass sets. In most cases, the simple gauge glass on the stem, water, drum or boiler shell is used as the indicator. Many standards stipulate the provision of two language glasses. Arrangements are usually required to prevent a breakage from causing a hazard to the operator.